So we have seen basic prompt, role task context prompt, few shot, and now let's see chain of thought, right? So chain of thought is good for reasoning based applications. For example, let's say you are building an LLM model which can solve riddles, puzzles, math problems, planning and acting for a travel agent. Let's say you can tell, I want to go this route or that route, or I want to find the flight which is cheaper than the other one, right? So any kind of reasoning based, then we need to tell the LLM to pause, think, and then respond, right? So chain of thought meaning you are telling the LLM that you do not directly respond back. Instead, you pause, step by step you think, and then only you respond. So this way, the user will have more trust, right, on the results that are predicted by LLM. And the user thinks that the LLM is not hallucinating any results and it is predicting the accurate results, right? So when there are a lot of reasoning based tasks involved, then you can go for chain of thought prompt engineering technique, right? Now let's go to our code editor VS Code and see how we can implement this chain of thought, right? So far we have seen basic prompt, role task context prompt, few shot. Now let me go to this folder and create a new Python file, and let's name it chain of thought demo. Okay. So let me copy the same code. I'm just creating separate files, but you can implement everything in one file also. Just for your understanding, I'm just creating each prompt in its own file, right? So what we understood with chain of thought, when we have a lot of reasoning based tasks, then we can use chain of thought, right? Now let's try to define chain of thought prompt template, right? So this is how chain of thought prompt template looks, right? So what we are telling here, this is the role. You are a highly professional customer support specialist at a premium tech company, and your goal is to address the customer's concerns while maintaining a calm and helpful demeanor, right? And we are providing the context here. Let's approach this step by step, and then we are telling the LLM to do this way with 4 steps. First, analyze the customer's sentiment and identify the core issues in their message. And then number 2, formulate an empathetic acknowledgement of their feelings. Next, address each identified issue with specific solutions, and finally end with a positive and forward-looking statement. And then we are providing with few examples. For example, let's say if the angry customer says this, your product is terrible, I have been trying to make it work for hours and nothing helps. Then we are telling the LLM to respond this way. Thought process. First one is sentiment. Customer is frustrated due to wasted time and product difficulties. Core issues. What are the issues? Product not working, time wasted, lack of proper guidance. And required. What is required? Immediate assistance, clear steps, acknowledgement of time value. And we want the LLM to respond this way. I sincerely apologize for the frustration you are experiencing. I understand how valuable your time is, and it's unacceptable that you have spent hours trying to resolve this. Let's work together to fix this immediately. Could you please tell me what specific issues you are encountering? I will guide you through the solution step by step. Right? Now, please analyze and respond to this customer message, right? So if this is the customer message, you respond this way by sentiment, core issue, and required, this format, right? Please show your thought process before providing the response, right? So this is how we defined our chain of thought template. So we assigned the role, task, and with some context by providing the examples, right? So we are guiding the LLM to think and then respond step by step. So why is this chain of thought is important? Because sometimes during building reasoning based applications, you may not trust the LLM response if it responds instantly, right? Whereas if the LLM thinks and responds, then the user may be more satisfied with the LLM response, right? For example, let's say if you want LLM to give you the cheapest flight price from point A to point B, right? And if the LLM response involves, I compare different flights and this is the price difference for this particular day or time, and then if it provides you the final answer, then as a user, you think that the LLM has done some reasoning before it actually gave the output, right? Instead of giving the response directly, right? So with this chain of thought, we want the LLM to process and then provide the response step by step, right? So once we define the template, the next step is use this prompt template and then define the prompt, right? So we are using the prompt template and we are assigning this customer message to input variables and the template that we define to template variable, right? And now this chain of thought prompt will be chained with this LLM by using LLM chain, which we have already seen, right? So once you have the chain of thought, let me get the same customer message from the previous example. So once you have the chain and the customer message, the next thing is we can call the run method which is inside LLM chain and see the LLM response, right? So chain of thought, chain dot run, and we are passing the customer message and save it. Now let's run the code. So now if you see the LLM response, this is how it is responding. So the LLM understood that it needs to respond in this format. Sentiment. Customer is angry because what we provided as a customer message, this is the angry customer message, right? Then it understood customer is angry and frustrated due to delayed delivery despite paying for express service, right? And then what is the core issue? Late delivery, unmet expectations, request for refund. And what is required? Acknowledgement of frustration, explanation or resolution for the delay, refund process. How did the LLM responded? I completely understand your frustration and I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience caused by the delayed delivery. I will look into this matter immediately and provide you with an update on the status of your delivery. As you have paid for express delivery, this delay is unacceptable and I will ensure that your money is refunded promptly. Thank you for bringing this to our attention and we will do everything we can to make this right for you, right? So we provided this example and we asked LLM to respond this way. So now when we gave this customer message, LLM understood that it needs to think through step by step and respond accordingly, right? So every time you run a chain of thought prompt, then you will see the output of LLM as a thought process, right? So first the LLM understood the sentiment, core issues and what is required, and then only LLM is trying to provide the response, right? So this is a step-by-step process, right? So what we did here, we installed the required packages and we imported the modules, we loaded the environment variables and we read the key, that is OpenAI key, and we stored inside this, and then we initialized the LLM and then we defined the chain of thought template by providing the role, goal is nothing but task, and then an example, sentiment, core issue required, and we want the LLM to respond this way, right? And then we define the prompt template and we chain that with the LLM by using LLM chain, and this is what the customer message, and then once we have the chain, we call the run method by passing the customer message and we saw the LLM response, right? So this is nothing but chain of thought, right? In case if you don't know how to write these prompts, right? So you don't have to write these prompts from scratch, right? We can use any of the AI tools to write the prompt for us. Because if you go to Hugging Face, there are already a ton of prompts that are written by others, right? Those are already available. So you can just go there and download those prompts and use them too, right? So prompts are readily available from Prompt Hub, or you can ask ChatGPT or any other tool to generate a prompt for you, right? So for example, if you go to Prompt Hub, right? So you can go here and you can try to explore and try to download. So this is one place. So similar to Prompt Hub, there are other prompts available on the internet, right? So you can explore more, but at least now you get the idea, right? So you can just go to ChatGPT and you can just ask the prompt. So you provide your context and it will try to provide the prompt for you, right? So this is nothing but chain of thought. All right. Thank you.